K-pop to most people is just that, Korean pop music, and that's all it is to it. But as I've learned, and many of the fans of the genre already knew, there's a lot beneath the catchy beats and colorful music videos that most people don't take the time to see. K-pop got its start all the way back in 1885, when songs called Changa were being taught to Korean school children. These songs were simply American and British folk songs that were being translated into Korean by a missionary to be taught to the children. These songs were banned while Japan occupied Korea because they talked very badly of Japan. Once South Korea was liberated from Japan in 1945, they started to be exposed to Western culture and their music started to take on this Americanized style. Most call this the beginning of K-pop and the birth of the first K-pop group, the Kim sisters. Between this time and the 80s, Korean artists started to replicate genres of music they heard coming from American culture, such as country, folk, and rock and roll. The 90s is when South Korea really saw the rise of K-pop groups as we know them, starting with the trio h.o.t and the Boys, and later h.o.t and s.e.s. This is when the three biggest Korean music companies were formed. SM Entertainment, YG Entertainment, and JYP Entertainment would become the companies that would rule most of the K-pop market for years to come. The 2000s started the Hallyu wave, or Korean culture wave. Korean culture started to see appreciation of its media and culture outside of its borders and into international spotlight. There is no way you lived through 2012 without hearing "Oppan Gangnam Style." Gangnam Style. Oppan Gangnam Style. s.e.s Gangnam Style, which currently has 3 billion views on YouTube. For most people, this was their first exposure to K-pop. The boy group Big Bang saw worldwide success, even as far as being the first Korean artist to enter Forbes Celebrity 100 and the 30 Under 30 list for the most influential musicians in the world. 21's hit song I Am the Best was actually used in the 2014 Microsoft Surface Pro commercial. 2017 and 2018 have been some of the biggest years internationally for K-pop so far. The boy band BTS won the iHeartRadio Award for Best Fan Army and Best Boy Band, the Shorty Award for Best in Music, and the Billboard Award for Top Social Artist, which had been won by Justin Bieber every year since its creation back in 2011. Their songs DNA and Mic Drop Remix have also been certified by the RIAA in 2018, being the first Korean group to do so. Since I've become a K-pop fan, I've learned that there's so much more to the world of K-pop than just its music. For this documentary, I decided to interview 2 of my friends, Mayra, who is the one that got me into the genre, and Sarah, who I became friends with over our mutual interest in it, and explore our experiences within this fandom. A common thing in Korea and surrounding Asian countries are fan meetings, which are fans coming up and getting to meet the artists, give them gifts, and even talk to them. A lot of groups appear on TV for variety shows such as Weekly Idol, Knowing Brothers, Running Man, and the yearly Idol Star Athletic Championships, which is basically like K-pop Olympics. Some groups even have their own kind of reality shows like Run BTS, Monsta X-Ray, and EXO Showtime. Some groups were actually formed through survival reality shows such as No Mercy and Produce 101, which work pretty much like American Idol, So You Think You Could Dance, and The Voice in the US. I asked my friends what they thought about these extra features in K-pop and how they liked them.
Honestly, everything you said. I like the merch because it's not just I'm buying a CD. It's you get like a whole book, you can get like different cards, you can like, I don't want to say they're trading cards, but you can trade cards.
Definitely like reality shows, because right there you get to know them personally. It's kind of unfiltered in a way, like you get this like off stage like personality, and that's really nice to have.
One thing that I wasn't expecting when I became a K-pop fan was finding this sense of family with other fans, whether it be in person or online. One of my favorite experiences is when me and my friends went to go see b.a.p in New York. We became friends with the girls that were next to us in line and formed this little group while we waited almost 8 hours in line. What blew me away is as I looked through this group that we had made, I realized that we had every major race in this group. We had Black, Middle Eastern, Asian, White, and Hispanic. I thought it was the coolest thing to see this genre of music pull together all these different races to join in on something they love and to have fun and enjoy it together.
It's just like a community. Like even if you only like one group, you're gonna have so much in common with so many different people. Even if you don't have that like actual connection in person, you can talk to like people online and be like, oh, I really like this, and they're gonna be like, same. And I love that feeling because I feel like there's not a lot of things in pop culture that are on that level, that are like a positive outlet.
No matter what language you speak or what race you are, ethnicity, we all just come together as a giant, like, weird family, and we just kind of talk about everything that we like.
I have one friend who I call Mom, and she lives in Tennessee, and we just started talking like at like end of freshman year over like Tumblr, and it was like, I think, over our love for like Big Bang, I want to say. So I call her Mom, and she's actually like been to Korea, and we Skype all the time. And I have a couple other friends that I've made through Tumblr or even like through life.
Even just like waiting in line, other people were there also like talking to us, and they were really friendly, which I've never had waiting in line at a concert. So that was pretty amazing. Another thing was once everybody was like seated and we were just watching a whole bunch of music videos that they were playing, and everybody was just like singing along, and it just was like, it felt really great. Like, the energy was just amazing.
For as long as I've listened to K-pop, I always get the same question of asking why I even like it, or why do I listen to music that's in a different language than what I speak. I decided to ask my friends how they counter this question.
I think K-pop has so many different appeals. Like, it's not just like one general thing. Like, anybody can get into it. You just have to find the right group that, you know, fits your kind of genre of music, because it's not just all like pop music. Like, they have different genres. Like, there are some groups that do more of like a Spanish vibe to it. Some do more EDM. Like, it's not just like going to be all pop music.
Honestly, I would just probably show them English songs, because there's so many songs that are in English that are such good songs and underrated songs that I've actually like had people come up to me like, oh, I don't know, I like K-pop, and like randomly throughout our like friendship or like being an acquaintance with them, I'll play something and it'll be in English. They'll be like, oh, who sings that? I'll be like, oh, that's K-pop. So for me, that's how I kind of try to explain K-pop, where it's like, it's just pop music, except it's just not in English. And I feel like some people just don't get why you'd want to listen to something that's not in English. But I feel like if you go out of your way to learn new things, you kind of open yourselves up to new experiences and new people, and it makes you more kind of cultured.
So if you're hesitant to give K-pop a listen, I say give it a try. I think there's something there for everyone. Take me for example. I didn't think I was gonna like it at first, and now look at me. I'm still embarrassed of that.